Today's Talk365 Talking Wellness segment is presented by Talking Wellness Weekend.
Hey everybody, it's Holly Love, and once again we are talking wellness, and as promised in studio I have Becca Anderson from the Emily Effect. Hi Becca, how are you?
Hi. Good, how are you doing, Holly?
I'm doing so good. Now
Great.
Becca and I are high school friends, so this has been really fun to catch up and get to see her, but we are going to stay focused because we have a very important message. We are talking mental health awareness and the importance of healthcare changing the way that all of us, the way we think and the way we approach healthcare from now forward, especially in the arena of mental health awareness. So, Becca, let's just dive in and tell me about why you're so passionate about this message.
It's about a year and a half ago that we lost my sister Emily to a postpartum mood disorder, and through our grief, we wanted to channel that grief into something positive for people. So we started a foundation, the Emily Effect, in her name, so that we could create a safe haven for moms and caregivers to go to feel validated in the things that they were experiencing, to share their stories with others, to know that other people are suffering, that they found peace and help, and then also to provide a site that they can get resources. So local resources that they can go to get help, and then also to really affect clinicians and caregivers out there that are providing treatment, so that we can really impact the coordination of care that's out there and really help come up with a holistic approach and a holistic treatment plan for people with mental health challenges to get the help they need, the true help they need.
Well, we had a chance to talk a little bit before, and obviously coming together on the point that having a team of doctors would have been so helpful. I mean, let's talk a little bit about having a group of people that come together that can collaborate and know what one is doing with the other, how that would have been helpful in your situation specifically with Emily.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, first and foremost, the first thing we need to do is just to have a conversation, right? To talk to someone, to talk to your partner, to talk to a close friend, then seek, and if you need to talk to a doctor and you need to seek help, then start that. And don't just stop there. Really go until you feel you found the right treatment path for you. And that may include seeing a doctor, and it may include seeing a therapist, and it may include someone that focuses on a more holistic approach. And so with all of that going on, it really would have helped Em if we could have gotten the caregivers, while each individually provided amazing care. If they could have coordinated better, I think we would have seen a different outcome.
I want you to tell me about the fact that perinatal disorders are the #1 cause of complications in pregnancy, and yet they don't do any help for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So perinatal mood disorders, what it encompasses, you may not have heard that term, it's the before, from conception up to the first year after the baby's born. And so, yeah, it's the #1 complication in birth, yet we don't screen really well for it. If someone has hypertension going into a pregnancy, they screen you and they watch you really closely for preeclampsia. But if you have depression or something that's going on emotionally or mentally, your OBGYN is not equipped from a psychiatric standpoint to really help with that. And so there has to be other caregivers involved and other approaches involved. And really even from the time that you feel you want to get pregnant, right? We all have pre-existing conditions, right? So how can I come at this and come up with a plan, so that when you are in a mental state that you can make good decisions, that you come up with a plan. And so that if something were to happen, you've been bought into that decision, you know what's going to happen, and you can really
execute.
You can build that team before, before you need them.
Yeah, well, and I think that's so huge, especially in this situation, because we talked about how even myself going through being sick for a couple of years with just stomach problems, going into doctors and having them just tell me basically, because of the way I looked and presented myself and I was together, they didn't take me seriously. And they didn't really do testing, and they would send me away, and I would spend all of this money and resources and time to get in there and get in their office, and then they would basically send me away with a Band-Aid. And so I think first of all, having the doctors know how to treat this or know people to refer to, because as one doctor, you can't just expect to treat it all. It doesn't work that way anymore.
They're not experts in all areas. And so you really do need that team. It was really interesting to me when you say, doctors dismissed you because you looked like a healthy, put together woman that you are. I mean, you look at Emily and same thing. She's got 5 great kids, a great husband, a great life. They were blindsided by this with their 5th child. And immediately after we had posted what happened with Emily on social media, I had women reaching out saying, because of your dear sister, I'm seeking treatment today. Wow. So not being afraid to have that conversation. And you look at these, and I saw these women and they look like they had just great, perfect lives. And so, as a society, we've kind of shunned the conversation. It's been social taboo. And so part of our mission with the foundation is really to end the stigma around mental illness, to normalize the conversation, and really know that we're all in it together. And there's people out there suffering, and we can help others if we talk about it. You just have to start that conversation and be okay with figuring out, and you're going to come into roadblocks and setbacks, but it doesn't mean if the therapist you talk to maybe doesn't jive with you, that therapy's not for you. Your worth, your family's worth, finding the right mix of a team to make sure that you get the care that you need.
Well, and I think knowing that just because one doctor says no, that's not the end. So we went to something as simple as thyroid, and you and I both had a low thyroid, and we've both done bioidentical hormones, right? Yes. And we both had prior doctors that told us our thyroids were fine before we found the doctors that said, no, it's not. And that our hormones were fine, and then find a doctor, like for me, it was Dr. Rogers, who's part of our wellness team, that said, no, it's not. And then from there, start to work with Dennis and get the mental stuff under control to figure out, okay, why did I get here? Like, what's going on? And how to learn how to shut down anxiety and get some of those skills set. And then finally, to meet Dr. Hatch and have him point to an x-ray and have an answer, have him smile and be like, I know exactly what's wrong with you, after you have no idea how many doctors and how many clinics and ERs I've been to. And that's not to, like you said, put down the healthcare system or those great clinicians. It's to ask them to possibly, if they don't know, be willing to refer. And for us to demand it. And if they don't know and they tell you and you still don't feel good, don't think that's the end, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You've got to really take control and really know that there is hope in the end, that you don't have to experience the same tragedy that Emily experienced. And taking that control. And as I've had friends go down to Dr. Hatch's clinic, down to the neuro clinic, and really seeing the difference that they've experienced, what a game changer, that would have been.
Can you imagine having some of for me, I can't imagine having some of these skills that I've learned and some of this knowledge from when I was young, because having it, I approach the way when I feel the symptoms of anxiety so much differently. Because I know that there will be a stop. When you don't know there's going to be a stop or that there's a way to help you, that's when it goes to levels of
and that's a challenging thing, because when you think about depression, we typically think on the past, right? And we worry about the past. And then you couple that with anxiety and the worry and the unknown of the future. It's no wonder you can become hopeless, pretty quick. So again, starting that conversation early to then start that treatment plan with the team, is crucial.
So obviously having your endorsement of the Wellness Weekend, we're totally grateful for that, and we're really excited as that being an opportunity and a source for people to be able to get the education and the knowledge about things that are out there that can help you. Answers you may not know are there. They will be given to you at this weekend, and then be able to develop a plan like we were talking about. Leave with a plan and some real skills of ways you can do things to deal and handle your stress better. And this is such an important conversation, but let's talk a little bit about the Emily Effect before we go.
Awesome.
And tell me where people can go to donate and where they can find you.
Yeah, they can find us at theemilyeffect.org. And there's a page on there where you can make donations. We've also started a small portion of the foundation that's focusing on mental health for teens, and that's endthestigma.org.
Now that is really cool.
So,
Tell me
yep.
tell me about that, because that is Emily's oldest son, right?
Oldest son, yeah. So and her daughters as well, and their family now has really focused on teen mental health and awareness, because they're finding that a lot of teens are experiencing this anxiety and these challenges, and so we want to again create another safe haven where people can go to feel validated in what they're experiencing, and you know, really feel empowered to seek help, and you know, go to these wellness weekends so that they know what to do and how to handle it.
In advance, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely, in advance, right?
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining me, and we'll have another conversation. Hopefully after this weekend, we'll have a lot of fun things we'll be able to share. And if there's ever anything we can do for the Emily Effect, if you have events coming up, please let us know. I would love to let our viewers know. And please join their Facebook, their Instagram, I'm sure all of your social media, your website, so you can be alerted about events coming up, because just your Facebook live feed that we were watching your little sister Megan, I learned more about the whole perinatal.
Yeah, it's hard
which
to say.
I never heard of, but see, I'd never heard of it before, and that was amazing. So check all of that out. And again, thanks for your time. We'll be right back right here on Talk 365 right after this.